In today's session, we are going to discuss the Procurement Operations Desk feature. Procurement Operations Desk was a feature that was released back in March of 2019. It is currently included in the sourcing module and in the buying module. Some of the main features include automatic routing of documents. So for example, a sourcing request will automatically triage to a shared service representative. The next feature on the list, the integrated user experience is the same in that sourcing module, contracts module, you can navigate between the two. Procurement Desk is just an additional tab, so with the correct permissions, you will have access to that. Easy collaboration between team members is highlighting really two features. One, when you log in, you have the capability of reassigning requests. This is very valuable for shared service teams because they might receive a request that's really supposed to go to them, but they might decide to reassign it for one reason or another. So they have the capability of reassigning. Subtasks is also a new feature that when you create a task and you're assigned a task from sourcing, you can create a subtask and assign that subtask an action to remind yourself or to assign it to an additional person. SLA and KPI tracking is really for the managers. The managers can use this to track the SLAs. It does this by highlighting due dates and providing warning messages when SLAs are starting to near their date. There's actual configurations that we can show that will actually highlight this. And finally, unified visibility is a feature that is not just for the procurement teams. It's also a way for procurement to provide feedback to the end users or the requesters, and requesters to respond to that feedback. In order to activate this feature, you need to submit a ticket to customer support requesting that they turn on Procurement Desk. As mentioned prior, Procurement Desk is currently available for the buying solution, and it's also available for the sourcing solution. So if you have an entitlement for that solution, you can actually turn this on for no charge. To access Procurement Desk once turned on, all you need to do is log on to the dashboard and then find the corresponding tab labeled Procurement Desk. In order to see the tab, you would need one of the following permissions below. Those permissions have various roles assigned to them. So for example, an agent is there to facilitate the activity against requisitions or sourcing tasks. Managers can handle the queue, directors can run reports, and the administrator can access the configuration area on the dashboard. I'm currently logged into the home dashboard, and as you'll notice, you'll see Procurement Operations Desk as a tab. You also see the sourcing tab. So to navigate to Procurement Operations Desk, it's like navigating to any other module. As long as you have the correct permissions, you'll have the tab at the top of the screen. If you don't see the tab, you can click on More and then select the appropriate tab. Once I click on Procurement Operations Desk, it then takes me directly to the module for the Operations Desk. You can see now that I am logged into Procurement Operations Desk from the sourcing interface. So it's tracking the sourcing dashboard information. It's doing this knowingly because I am on the actual task screen. Now, in the sourcing module or the sourcing world, Procurement Operations Desk tracks the tasks themselves. Whenever you create a project, it's tracking the tasks of that project. Now, what happens differently in sourcing is it's looking at the tasks themselves. So before you saw that I had certain tasks assigned to me, as you can see right here, or I can actually switch to the queue. From the queue, I can also filter the requests. I can see what tasks are available. I can see when they were created, received by, let's say that I want to only see what the requests were in the last 7 days. I can filter against if the tasks are mandatory or optional, so I'll select mandatory. And instead of sorting by project, as you're seeing, I can convert it to sorting by task. Because I have multiple tasks that I want to select, I can hit multi-select and then select the appropriate task here, and then click either assign to a team member. If I'm a manager, I can assign it to somebody else, or assign to myself. I'm going to click assign to myself. Once you click assign to yourself, it moves it away from the queue and assigns it to your task section. So by clicking back and selecting my tasks, you can see that there's new items pending action from me. Clicking into the project, you can then start activities, stop activities, or reassign, create subtask, or view. From the sourcing screen, I'm going to click view. What this will do is it'll bring me directly into the project. So I'm going to click view. And as you can see, it brought me directly into the task screen. Now, I can always leave the task screen. I can click here and then go up a level into the task view. I'm going to do that real quick. So it's in a compact view. I'm going to switch to full view. And you can see that now I'm on the task screen. You can see that there's task listed here. There's notification, sourcing request, approval for sourcing request. These are things that could have been actioned upon by my team members, by myself, or an actual user who's just using the actual project screen. The history will document the activity taking place. Now that you've seen the sourcing module, let's transition to the buying module. To track requisitions, you can simply click on My Requisitions. Now, this is a queue for myself. You'll notice that it switched from sourcing to procurement. So now I am in the buying module. The assignment is basically done through either a team member as a manager assigning to me logging in like I just did and assigning stuff to myself, or if I have the correct permissions, I can assign them to other team members. So you can see assigned to myself, assigned to team members. I click view. Now viewing would be viewing the details of that specific requisition. So by clicking view, so what you see now is the requisition detail. And as you scroll down, you can see that there's an approval flow here. You can also see the history. By hovering over, you'll see the approval node. This is the IT approval manager. I can then move forward and approve or deny or edit this request. Well, going back. So this is a laptop computer request that I'm going to assign to myself. I will then go to my requisitions, and you can see the laptop computer is now assigned to myself. I'm going to action upon this by starting it. I'm going to say I started. Now it moves in progress. Now I have different things that I can do. I can reassign it to somebody. I can create a subtask. Now reassignment is obviously something that is permission based. Create a subtask is giving me the capability to remind myself of activities that are associated to this request. So from here, I'm going to create a subtask. I'm going to add the task recipient, which was myself. It did find a match. Okay. Please send email to stakeholder request response. And I'll hit save. You have the information there from the subtask. So the other activities I can perform is I can approve and deny this just like any other requisition. I'm going to click approve. Optional comment, I'll say approved. And then it moves from in progress to completed. We reviewed sourcing and requisitions. Now it's time to transition into administration. So we already reviewed the sourcing and buying dashboards. You might be wondering how that's configured. So for an administrator, they would be able to switch between the dashboards and they would be able to select the system settings. So by clicking system settings, it then brings you into the configuration area. This actual area has a lot of features behind it, so we could probably create several videos detailing these features. So I'm just going to give a quick overview on some of the key areas. The workspace settings, which is basically describing the two different areas that we discussed, the tasks for sourcing and the tasks associated to buying. You can actually designate what document types will send to each workspace type. So right now we have requisitions configured. I'm going to show you by clicking See Settings. So we have requisitions sent to the one dashboard. That's in the buyer side. And the sourcing workspace has the sourcing project, the sourcing request, RFP, RFQ, and RFI sending to the dashboard. This is configurable, so you don't have to send every document type. So, for example, if you did not want sourcing request to send, you can remove this from the file and it will not actually be sent to the dashboard. Backing out of this, you'll scroll down. Queue management is a very popular area as well, where it helps you designate how a specific task in sourcing or a requisition is triaged automatically to a stakeholder. By clicking Manage Queues, you'll see that there are some activities that have already been configured. I configured one for advertising for sourcing requests. I did this by clicking Add, but instead of clicking Add right now, I'm going to show you the editing mode just to show you some of the things that I typed in. So as you can see on this screen, you'll see different document types that you can configure. As you can notice, I selected the sourcing request document type. I was able to type in a name. I included a description. I made this specific queue rule active. So I made this rule active. I also provided myself as the queue manager. Now, with rule setup, I added advertising commodity code as the commodity code that will actually automatically triage it to the correct user. So that user in this case is myself. I can also select the assign type and select different assignment options from here. And right now it's assigned to a member, but I can also do load balancing between a group of people. I can assign it to a specific owner, assign the owner, or I can do a round robin. If the resource is not available, you can have a secondary resource set up so that they would receive the request instead of the primary. Now to exit, you would just click save or cancel. I'm going to cancel, and it brings me back to the editor for the queue manager. And like I said, you can add additional tasks here. You can export this into a CSV file and update it through CSV. You can also click export here. Going back to the system administration or system settings area, you'll see that there's a lot of other different features that you can utilize. And because this is just an overview session, we will have additional videos at a later date that will review those features. That concludes our session today. For more information on Procurement Operations Desk, click the Help menu and select Help Center. Type Procurement Operations Desk. From here, you can access more information such as product documentation, articles, and FAQs on Procurement Operations Desk and other features of the Ariba product suite. Thank you.